May the Lord bless you today, whoever you are listening to this message. Isaiah 55 verse 22 says, "Cast your burdens upon the Lord. He shall sustain you. He shall never let the righteous be removed." You know, we can sometimes listen to loads of scriptures like this. We can sometimes listen to people speak about giving all your cares and your problems to Jesus. But when we start to go through these things, when we start to have burdens and cares and problems in our life, we can have a tendency to forget these scriptures. We can have a tendency to forget what we've heard someone preach about. I know I can. But the scriptures are so true, that rather we know them or don't know them, if we remember them or we don't remember them, the Lord still honors his word. What I mean is that we can be so carried away with the burdens in life, we can be so weighed down with problems or difficulties that we're going through as a Christian and forget the promises that God has made to us. But God does not forget. God does not forget. Jesus said, "I will never leave you or forsake you." And yet, sometimes we can say to ourselves, "I'm all alone. I have no one to help me." And yet Jesus is right beside us. I'm not one of those persons who tells everyone about his burdens. I'm not one of those to share it with other people, even very close Christians. I don't go into great details when I'm going through difficulties. I may say something like, "Keep us in prayer. I've got a few problems at the minute." But I don't really go into a lot of detail. It's just my upbringing, it's just how I am. But there's one person who I do pour my heart out to. There's one person who I do unload all my cares and my burdens onto, and that's the Lord. And the problem that I've got sometimes is that even though I do that, even though I pour my heart out and I put all my burdens, down at his feet and say, "Lord, take care of them, help me," slowly I start picking them back up again, one after one. Instead of leaving them there, instead of saying, "Lord, you deal with it," I start picking a burden up and saying, "Well, this burden I can deal with. I can cope with this. I can sort this out." And then I pick another one up, and then I pick another one up, and before I know it, I'm weighed down again with burdens and stress and all the rest of it that goes with it. And all we have to do really is just leave it at the feet of Christ. Whatever it is. It can be finance, it can be physical impairments, it can be, problems in the family, it can be problems in the church, anything. What we have to do is give our burdens onto him. Leave them with him to sort out. And stop trying to do it in our own strength. We have to remember that we are not alone. That Christ is with us. Even in our darkest hour, when we think that everyone has abandoned us, Christ never abandons us. Christ is right there at the side of us. As a matter of fact, most of the time, well, I could say all of the time for me, Christ is not at the side of me. He's not at the back or the front, but he's actually got me in his arms and he's carrying me through. Because if I tried to walk in this life as a Christian in my own strength, in my own ability, then I wouldn't get through 1 hour. Because the problems and the cares of life, the burdens of life, the temptations and sin of the flesh and the world weighs you down so much that it's impossible. It's impossible for a man or a woman in the flesh to carry on in their own strength. We can't do it. Christ has to do it for us. He has to carry us through. And we have to learn to leave all our problems and cares at his feet and not pick them back up one by one, but to leave them there at the feet of the cross of Jesus Christ. Thank you for listening to this message. May the Lord lighten your burden today. May the Lord bless you today and give you peace in your heart and in your mind. And may the Lord use you for the furthering of His kingdom today. God bless.